Sergeant Daniel Cross had spent 12 years in the U.S. Army. He had survived brutal firefights, endless patrols, and the kind of nights when the desert felt like it was swallowing you whole. But on that cold night in late October, somewhere deep in the mountains of Afghanistan, Daniel would face something far worse than bullets. It was supposed to be a routine patrol, 4 men, moving quietly along a narrow trail used by smugglers. The mission was simple: scout the area, report any movement, and return to base before sunrise. But from the moment they stepped off, Daniel felt it, a strange weight in the air. The wind was sharp, yet carried no sand, no dust, just the smell of damp earth, like they were walking through a forest after rain, even though they were miles from any green land. Their radios began acting up. At first, just static, then faint voices. At 1:47 a.m., Private Miller froze mid-step. "Sarge, did you hear that?" Daniel listened. Between the static, a voice whispered his full name, Daniel Cross, slowly, like someone savoring each syllable. "Probably interference," Daniel muttered, but his voice was tight. As they pushed forward, the moon broke through the clouds. That's when Daniel saw it, far up the trail, a lone figure standing perfectly still. The man was in full combat gear, but his uniform wasn't right. It looked old, faded, from decades ago. The helmet was dented, and the face under it was pale, almost gray. Daniel called out, "Identify yourself." The figure didn't move, didn't even flinch. Then, in one smooth, unnatural motion, its head turned toward them, turning far beyond what any human neck should allow. The sound of it twisting was like tree branches snapping in a storm. Private Miller took a step back, surprised. "Sarge, that's not possible." Daniel raised his rifle, finger ready on the trigger. But when he squeezed, the weapon jammed. Suddenly the figure was gone. The trail was empty. But then, boots, heavy boots, running toward them from behind. Daniel spun around, and there it was again, right in front of him, this time just inches away. Its eyes glowed faint. The world around him seemed to fade. The mountains, the trail, even the cold night air dissolved into darkness. The last thing he saw was the figure's mouth stretching into an impossible smile. And then, silence. At dawn, the rest of the patrol found Daniel's gear neatly laid out on the trail: rifle, helmet, and dog tags, like someone had placed them there with care. There were no footprints leading away. Some say Daniel deserted. Others believe he died in those mountains. But every few months, a new patrol reports hearing heavy boots pacing in the darkness, followed by a whisper on the wind. Patrol's not over.